What's going on, guys? Zuko back with another Shadowlands video. I hope you're all doing very well. Grab your coffees. Listen, I need help, first of all, from you guys. I need somebody in the next stream to change my transmog. I think it's time, you know? I think it's time. Right? It's time. I need one of you kind folks to spend your points on a transmog change, okay? Just keep that in mind. What are we talking about today? We've got a 19 Theater of Pain that we ran. I ran this this morning after I got home from work, so I was kind of tired. In the video, I kind of look like a zombie, but we got coffee now. We're waking up. 19 Theater of Pain, and we tried Deeply Rooted once again. This Deeply Rooted experiment's never going to go away. I genuinely think that there's something here. I want there to be something here. There might be something here. You're going to see in this video, it has like its moments, but in reality, it's just nowhere near as good as probably some other builds. So if you're looking to play Ele Shaman right now, I mean, there's some obvious legendaries like Echoes of the Great Sundering. Skybreakers is really good, I think, actually. I genuinely believe that Skybreakers is quite strong. And I'm going to continue to try and do more Ele builds with this plus Venthyr. I did run that in like a plus 10, but I didn't want to show you guys that video because it's only a plus 10. So today I'm going to try and do some like plus 18s or 19s with Skybreakers Venthyr, and I'm going to show you what that's like. But for now, let me just humor me, okay? Just humor me for a minute and come into my little world where we try and make Deeply Rooted's work. So what does this legendary do? Of course, it says that casting Lava Burst has a chance to activate Ascendance for 6 seconds. And I just want to talk about that for a second because people don't know what Ascendance does for Ele Shaman because nobody ever takes this ability because it's probably bad. So you transform into a Flame Ascendant, replacing Chain Lightning with Lava Beam. It removes the cooldown on Lava Burst, and then it increases the damage of Lava Burst by an amount equal to your critical strike chance. Now, mine is not very high because I just have really bad gear on right now, but it does give you more damage. So I'm getting 17% more Lava Burst damage from my crit chance there. Also, when you transform into an Ascendant, you send out a burst. You send Lava Bursts at all enemies with your Flame Shocks on them, and you refresh your Flame Shocks to 18 seconds. So that's actually really interesting and quite cool. And the refreshing part is actually very strong. You'd be surprised. It's just nice to like not have to reapply your Flame Shocks because as Ele Shaman, you have no way of spreading Flame Shocks like Enhance does. So getting a refresh on your Flame Shock is a very welcome change. But that's what Ascendance does. So every time I press Lava Burst, I have a chance to do all of this for 6 seconds. And obviously, what we're mostly interested in is the on-hit burst of meatballs that comes flying out. But also, your Lava Burst damage goes up, and there's some interaction with Stormkeeper as well that people don't really understand. If you press Stormkeeper, like this, now I have a buff for 15 seconds. My next 2 Chain Lightnings will overload. They're guaranteed to overload. If I proc Ascendance from Deeply Rooted while I have my Stormkeeper buff, this Chain Lightning down here that's glowing turns into Lava Beam. And then you can send out those Lava Beams and they're guaranteed to overload. And they do a lot of frickin' damage. The Lava Beam overloads just do tons of damage. This was like 1, maybe 2 casts that I got to do over the course of the entire dungeon because I wasn't playing this to perfection. I wasn't playing very well at all. But this is just the Lava Beam overload from me casting it like twice. It did almost 220k. So maybe 4 times. So it maybe did 100k each time. But I think it does about 100k in overload damage each time. So that's a cool interaction you can get as well. If you put up Stormkeeper and you get an Ascendance proc, you have Lava Beams that are ready to go. That'll absolutely nuke the enemy. So that's the legendary. We ran Necrolord to try and get the haste bonus. I think this is actually a bad way to do this build because there's too many things going on. I spent way too much freaking time trying to set up my Primordial Waves. Like, as an Enhancement Shaman, you go Flame Shock or Primordial Wave, which becomes a Flame Shock, into Lava Lash, which spreads it around. Now you have 4 of them guaranteed into Lightning Bolt right away, and you just go. Whereas, like, with Ele Shaman, it's like Flame Shock, Primordial Wave, and then I could go with 2 targets, or I could wait for my Flame Shock to come back off cooldown and get a 3rd target. It's just, like, really clunky and annoying, and you can't really get the most out of it. So I want to try this again as Venthyr, because I think it might genuinely have some power as Venthyr, but it just, my brain was too scattered trying to do it as Necrolord, because it was like, I want to just do my AoE rotation with Stormkeeper, but I'm messing it up because I'm trying to get this going, my Primordial Wave plus Flame Shocks. I'm trying to get them, like, rolling, and I'm not doing a very good job. And so I'm messing up both. I'm doing neither one of those things particularly well. So that's a little bit frustrating, but that's what we ran. We were Necrolord. We had Primal, or sorry, not Primal. We had Deeply Rooted Elements. That's our talents, and we ran Plague Divisor Marilith with just the increase to Fire Elemental and the Earthquake Lightning thing, and then the Primordial Wave reset. You need this very badly. That's what you need for sure. So that's what we ran. That's the build. Let's get into the VOD, okay? Let me show you how Deeply Rooted, like, actually works. Because it can work, I think. It just, I don't know. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong screen. I was like, why isn't this, this doesn't look correct to me. Media player, let's go over here. Come on back over here. Okay, there we go. So here's the opening pack. We do a little skip to the left if you haven't done a higher Theater of Pain key. This is on Fortified Week, so we're going to skip the initial 3 guys, and then they pull the guy with the mount. I think they're going to pull him into the boss. So my damage at the beginning here isn't super great, but there's a Mind Suit. Mind Suit goes off, we run past, we pull this guy into the boss, and we lost. Okay? So now I'm trying to, like, get my Primordial Wave stuff going. I am running Fire Elemental, not Storm Elemental. So because I have such a focus on, like, Flame Shocks, spreading Flame Shocks and getting that kind of stuff going, I did want the Fire Ele out. But again, I think it's way better as Venthyr. We're going to try that later. So we're not doing a lot of damage yet. I'm still kind of getting set up. There's my Stormkeeper combo. I get stuck with the opportunity strikes here. One thing I want to mention, I don't end up doing it here because this team was really great and they broke me out of the CC. If you get stunned by this guy with the opportunity strikes, you can break it with Thunderstorm. I always get the name wrong. Thunderstorm. Thunderstorm will knock all nearby enemies back. It works on this opportunity strikes guy. It interrupts him. And even if you're the one being stunned, you can still cast it. So it's actually very, very strong on this fight. We continue with our damage. There we go. Primordial Wave. You can see the meatballs go out from the Primordial Wave. Very, very cool. Those do have a chance. Oh, we just got an Ascendance proc. Those do have a chance to proc Ascendance. So you saw there the Ascendance proc. Just give me 1 second. Let's go back just a tiny bit so you can see it. So we get our Primordial Wave here. All the meatballs go flying out. Boom, 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 boom. And then our next Lava Burst actually procs Ascendance, which sends another wave of meatballs out. Here they come. Boom, boom, boom. See all those meatballs? Pretty good. So we're doing 21k. Not bad in a boss fight for us. But I mean, again, could be better. It could be better. But just Meatball City, what you want to do with this build is cast Lava Burst as much as you possibly can. Because it procs Ascendance like it did just right there. So that's a second proc on Ascendance that we've gotten. And remember, when you do proc Ascendance, it sends out all the meatballs, but it also increases the damage of your Lava Burst by your crit chance. Again, we're not doing anywhere near as much damage as the Survival Hunter or the Boomkin, because they popped all their cooldowns. There's an Opportunity Strikes. I go to break it here, but I'm way too late. But again, you can break it with Thunderstorm. I get another Primordial Wave thing out. I mean, the Primordial Wave resets are really strong. And the haste is good. You're getting like 20% haste, but it's just not super great overall. We end up doing about 15.5k overall. So not the greatest, right? It's not the greatest, but it's not terrible. Where are my notes here? Let me get those up. Let's move forward. I have a couple spots I want to get to before we get to the end of the video. Let's go to 620. This whole section in here. So this is where the build is bad. This is when it gets really bad. A couple people end up dying here, which is unfortunate because they just get hit by his big blast here in a second. This right here, the Vile Eruption, people get hit by that, and they die, and that's okay. We just carry on. I got a couple procs on Ascendance here, which is like really bad because I only have 2 targets left. Like, you want it to proc when you have Flame Shocks out on, like, 5 targets. That would be ideal, right? But we don't really get the ideal scenario set up here. It's unfortunate. I think it procs right here. There we go. It procs. Again, we only have 1 target now. So, and then it procs a second time. I think right here. Right there. See that proc? So, again, this is like a great example of why this is bad and why that RNG, in terms of like legendary creation and making RNG like the staple of that legendary, is such a bad design. I love this legendary, but all Blizzard has to do with it is say, instead of instead of having a 7% chance to get a Lava Burst to proc Ascendance, just say that every 12 Lava Bursts that you cast will proc Ascendance. And then it means that, like, or every 15 casts will proc Ascendance. And make it so that the Mastery procs, if you're getting the Mastery procs consistently, the Overload, those also count towards your total of getting to Ascendance. What does this do? First of all, it makes it so that you have a predictable cooldown that you know about. So if you're at like the 14 mark, you're getting to like the 13th, 14th Lava Burst cast, and there's no mobs left, if there's only 1 mob left, like right here, then you can hold on to your Lava Burst because you know that your proc is coming. Your big proc is coming. And so you're like, I'm just going to hold it. I'm going to wait till we get into the next pack, and then I'm going to proc it. Because like you just saw here, I had it proc at the end of this pack, which is miserable. Number 2, if the Lava Burst is not RNG, then, oh, sorry, I had something going on here. It just makes it feel a lot better to play. Like, it just makes it feel so much more fun to play. Having to wait all the time to try and get a proc is just, like, really, really annoying. I think the idea, if you made it a predictable thing, if you made it tie into Mastery, that was going to be my big second point, was that you could now invest into Mastery. That's a choice you can make. You can say, okay, I'm going to invest heavily into Mastery because I have this legendary Deeply Rooted Elements that says every 15 casts of Lava Burst triggers Ascendance. Now, if I have Mastery, that I'll be like double dipping on that. If I get a high enough Mastery, like 60, 70%, then the chances of me proccing Overload are very, very high. And so the chances of me stacking up this legendary quickly are very high. But I just wish that's what it was like. Because right now, I'm just waiting for a proc. I'm hoping to get lucky. And I'm hoping that it's not going to proc when there's only 1 or 2 mobs left, like it did here, which really, really sucks. Let's move forward into the boss fight. This is Gorechop. So this fight was okay for us, but again, I'm really divided on what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to set up my stupid Primordial Wave windows, and they're just kind of terrible. And then I'm also trying to get my Stormkeeper going. And like you saw right there, I'm going to show you this really quick. Right now, I have Stormkeeper. Look at my Lava Beam. See how Lava Beam is lit up? That's because I have my Stormkeeper buff up here. I have 6 seconds left on my Stormkeeper. So my next 2 Lava Beams now are going to guarantee Overload and chain to nearby enemies. And Lava Beam, if you don't know, does more damage each time it jumps instead of just the regular chain lightning. So watch this. I'm going to throw a Lava Beam right here. Boom, I hit one right there. You can see the beams. And then I hit another one right here. There's all the beams. So that's a lot of damage. And it's a really cool interaction. It's fun to like have that interaction where you kind of put your Stormkeeper up, and then you wait like 5 or 6 seconds and hope to get an Ascendance proc. And if you do, then you can cast those Lava Beams, and they do a ton of damage. But otherwise, you just do your regular Stormkeeper rotation. No, it's no big deal. Nothing too special to say about Gorechop. Our damage is like okay by the end of it. Almost 13k, I think. Probably goes down. Oh, back to 13k. This build is very consistent. You don't really have any cooldowns, right? You're always fishing. There's an Ascendance proc right there. You're always fishing for your big Ascendance proc, but you don't have any like major cooldowns that you need to press. So that's really nice. You also, I forgot to mention with this build, because of the way the tier set bonus works, you literally get a permanent Fire Ele. Your Fire Ele never goes down in the entire dungeon. Ever, which means you basically have like free Lava Surge procs all the time and extra damage on your Flame Shocks, and your Flame Shocks last a lot longer. There's a lot of cool stuff going on there. So really, really love to see that. It's kind of neat. I think it would be so much better as Venthyr. And I'm definitely going to try that. So you know, we'll get there. Here's the next wing. Let me move to 1035. It's actually coming up right here. This is a big AoE moment for us. It's really good. So obviously the tank's going to pull all these guys into here. The first bunch of guys, he's going to pull them in. You have to watch your feet. I try to get my primordial wave thing going, and I at least get 20% haste rolling right now. We're doing 10k. Here comes the damage. Earthquake into Chain Lightning, into Earthquake. Just a standard rotation for Ele Shaman. See how much more damage we're doing like this? This is why I don't like Necrolord so much on Ele Shaman, because you're like forced to do a different thing with your brain. You're like trying to spread the flame shocks and get those big lava bursts, but you should just be pressing Chain Lightning and Earthquake. So like we're doing 30k, which I'm very happy about, but this is something that I could probably be doing all the time if I was playing Venthyr, because I wouldn't be focused so much on trying to set up my primordial wave window. I would just be getting my burst out. So anyway, we do a lot of damage here. I'm very happy about that. It's super, super cool. Then we run through. We end up doing this over on the other side. Once again, we get another big burst of damage. I get the lava beam right here. This is a big moment here. Watch this. I have Stormkeeper, and my Ascendance has procced, so I have lava beam ready to go. Watch this. Boom. Earthquake into boom. I've cast lava beam twice, and we're doing 24k DPS right now. So it's really cool. If you do get the little combo, the Stormkeeper combo, you get it more frequently than you might think that you do, and it works out really well. Another really good thing for this week for Ele Shaman is that Thunderstorm knocks back Spitefuls. Right there, you see me knock them all back. So that's a really good tool to have this week. Honestly, the best way to use it is if you kill a pack and you kill them relatively evenly, and all the Spitefuls come out at the same time. You can just knock them all backwards, and then your whole team can just move forward and just forget about them, because they will time out. They'll slowly die over time. Just something to think about. Let's move forward. 1410. 1410. So we defeat the middle pack on this island, which is a very tough pack. And again, I didn't even do as much damage as the tank there, because we're getting better at this, but the build's not very good. The tank did a lot of good damage there. And then the tank pulls this side pack for extra percentage, because we missed some at the beginning of the dungeon, if you remember. I set up my primordial wave. There's some meatballs flying out. And then I get an Ascendance proc right here. Oh, thought it was right there. One more primordial wave. Boom! There goes the meatballs. It's so cool when it happens. You're just like, he just like punches the air, and it's just like this like 15 like balls come flying out. It's kind of a neat animation, right? So you can see that's what we're doing, and then we're almost doing 20k there. Really, really cool. I did get a couple lava beams off too, which is cool. You only get Ascendance for 6 seconds, which is actually almost just barely enough time to cast 2 lava beams. So you have to sort of figure out if you want to do that or if you want to just press Lava Burst. But that's it. That was a really good pack once again. Let's go to the Kul'tharok boss fight, 1740. Nothing too crazy on the Kul'tharok boss fight. Our damage is pretty low at the beginning, obviously, because I'm trying to set up my Primordial Wave haste window. And I end up getting it going here, and then we end up catching up to everybody else. But the draw soul mechanic is pretty brutal. Obviously, as a ranged person, I can just go stand in the hands, but it just kind of sucks to interrupt my flow there. But it's good. We get lots of meatballs off in this fight. Once again, the tier set bonus is all about Lava Burst, right? That's what the tier set bonus does. Gives you a ton of Lava Burst damage and obviously cooldown reduction on your Ele. I just wanted to make sure I tried the Necrolord like experiment, because I just thought the Necrolord could be good, but I think it ends up just being bad. Certainly worse than Venthyr. By the end of this fight, we do catch up in damage a little bit. We almost catch up to the Druid, but not quite. So that's okay. We're working through it. Let's go to the 2140. There's a really good moment right here where we have some single target boss damage. So in the Xav corridor, it's all the mini bosses. Watch how much damage we do here compared to everybody else. This is kind of where we help our team out a little bit. I got an Ascendance proc, which means my Lava Burst is doing extra damage, which is really great. Anytime Lava Burst gets more flat damage, it's huge, because it's always guaranteed to crit, right, with your Flame Shock on the enemy. So if you can just get more damage on top of that, that's insane. But we're doing 10, almost 11k here. I think I get an Ascendance proc. We're doing 11.5k single target, which is really good compared to the rest of our group. Like, the Druid's only doing 4k, because the Druid's not really designed to do single target, and that's fine. This is how we can help our group out, right? If we're not contributing as much to the AoE portion, then we can contribute to the single target portion here. So I just wanted to show you that. That's a lot of single target damage for us there. Let's go to the Xav Boss Fight at 2520. This fight's really annoying because obviously you get sent downstairs. Not much crazy to say. The only thing I want to say here is that when this banner pops out, because you're Necrolord, you can spread your Flame Shocks and get a juicy Lava Burst chain on all 3 targets. The Relic, the Boss, and the Totem. So I put a Primordial Wave out right here. And then I send my Lava Burst. Here we go. Boom, 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 boom. It sends out a bunch of extra shots. I get clipped here. Unfortunate. But that's okay. We don't die, which is lucky. Then we get sent downstairs, and I tell the Druid just to kill me, but I wasn't looking at his damage numbers. He didn't have any cooldowns up, I don't think. So I don't know if anyway. And then unfortunately we get the Urh. What? Look at this. We get Urh right now, which full heals us. Look at our health bars. He can't even kill me if he wanted to. Oh god, I thought that was so funny. It's just really good. So we do end up killing Xav. Let's go to Mordretha. 28-25. Let's do this. Final boss time. So once again, we choose to lust halfway through this fight. I'm trying to set up my Primordial Wave thing again to get at least a couple of like Lava Bursts. But you see how much harder this is than Enhancement Shaman? Enhancement Shaman literally just goes Flame Shock on the boss, Lava Lash on the boss, and then you can Lightning Bolt all 4 targets. It's that easy. This is like Flame Shock, Primordial Wave a second target, then I have to cast Lava Burst. Like, that's all you get. So it's way worse for Ele Shaman, and that's really frustrating. I did get a tiny little boost here, but again, instead of getting 40%, I only got 20%. So I'm not happy with that. I think Venthyr is just the way to go. So nothing crazy happens on this fight. Let me look at our damage. We start doing a decent amount of damage, but again, we just had a bad start. Imagine if we'd had... Sorry, guys. Imagine if we had had Chain Harvest on pull instead of Primordial Wave. Think about how much more damage we would have done. Like, we would have basically instantly nuked all the relics, and we would have had a bunch of Flame Shocks out doing extra damage, and then you can just focus on doing your regular rotation. Like, you don't have to focus on trying to, game it the whole time. So, a couple people do end up dying here. The healer dies, so I've already popped my Ancestral Guidance, which is a really good heal tool. So it's just the Pally and the Hunter and me left. We're okay. We actually do end up doing just fine here. I almost end up getting to 10k DPS, which is pretty cool. The portal spawning right under my butt, which I didn't realize. 9k damage. Sorry, 9k. And that's it. We did get some rating, which is good. We got +8 rating, I think. Or +5 rating. Our damage overall was 11.3. Again, I'm not happy with that. I think that we can do a lot better. I think that, realistically speaking, if you have Venthyr with Chain Harvest, it's going to do so much more. But this build, I think, can work. It can work. I just think the Necrolord experiment number 1 is a failure. I would not play Necrolord with this in the higher keys. You're just not going to do enough damage. You don't have time to set up your Primordial Wave stuff. On Elemental Shaman, it takes way too long. You just don't have time to get the Primordial Wave stuff going. What you would have time for is to press one button, which is Chain Harvest, and just blast everything, and then go into your regular AoE rotation, and then try to spam Lava Burst as much as you possibly can, and hope to fish for a proc based on that. That makes more sense to me, and I'm going to try that tonight on stream. If you want to see that tonight, if you're watching this right now, if it's the same day, then check me out on stream. So that's the build, guys. That's the damage that we did. Lots of damage from Ele Blast and Earthquake. I did, of course, take Fire Elemental, and I took Master of the Elements instead. So I'm pushing all of my Lava Burst damage gets pushed, that 20% extra gets pushed into an Earthquake or pushed into an Earth Shock, which is really nice. There is potentially room for Liquid Magma Totem, and maybe I'll experiment with that, but I think Master is perfectly fine, and it's going to be better on single target as well. So anyway, that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate all the love and support. If you want to continue to support this channel, drop a like down below, subscribe to the channel, and check out the Patreon link if you have the ability to support every month. I would really, really appreciate it, guys. I'm going to be pushing the Patreon thing for the next, foreseeable future because I want to see how many people we can get on there. So far we've got 5 people who've already signed up for Patreon who are getting those benefits that are on there. So go check out the link to Patreon if you want to help support the channel. Until the next one, guys, see ya.